Hey everybody, it's Connor. Welcome to the Hoopercast Movie Hour. This is the Penguin episode. We recorded this review back in December of 2024. And the reason I waited so long to put it out was I was already planning on watching it. And so after he recommended it, I sort of fast-tracked my viewing of it, and I just got done watching it. So I was going to add some thoughts at the end of this episode, but I wanted you to listen first to the review, and I'll add my thoughts at the end. Please enjoy The Penguin. Let's do the Penguin.
Let's do the Penguin. That sounds like a dance move. I've got a club foot.
I brought you these pebbles. Go fish. I'll watch the eggs.
The men sit on the eggs.
I'm sit on the eggs. All right. Well,
I like that our brains are both just going to the recesses of our minds just to find penguin facts.
It's like,
what can we pull from?
I've watched a lot of documentaries. What do these penguins do?
Help me, Morgan Freeman.
They take the pebbles and drop them as a sign of affection. All right. Well, I found the promo for this episode. All right, Dustin. Tell me about this penguin show. Not that penguin show. The one with Colin Farrell.
Come on. You gotta help me up. Come on.
Life is just a dream.
You promised me, Oswald. I know, Ma. I deserve a better life. I'm working on it. The world ain't set up for the honest man to succeed. That should be the American dream right there. You know, beautiful story with a happy ending. But that ain't the way the world works. America's a hustle. Not that I'm complaining.
Penguin, you waltzing in here like you mean something. We're in the middle of a gang war.
Carmine Falcone's dead.
If we don't protect what's ours, we just look weak. The streets are talking again. They know there's only one man big enough to run this city.
Do you remember Carmine's daughter?
Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Sophia, I thought you was still at,
Arkham? No. I've been rehabilitated.
You're playing a dangerous game with his family, Hans. You think I want Sophia Falcone knocking on my door?
She is the hangman.
What is it you're really after, Oz?
We're gonna tear down the empire from the inside out.
Whoever controls the drug business controls the streets. I'll be running the whole damn trade.
I got ambition. I can help you.
Hey! Feel alive, Vic, huh? Feel your heart beating?
The city is meant to be yours, sweetheart. What are you gonna do to get it?
Trust me. It's just the beginning.
The Penguin. So this is currently streaming on Max. It is the follow-up to The Batman, and it stars Colin Farrell once again as the Penguin, or as Oswald Cobb. Not Cobblepot. That's too cartoony, and it will not stand. It is Oz Cobb. And it also stars Kristen Milioti and a bunch of other and a bunch of other really great actors. For me, most notably, Clancy Brown is in this, and I saw him and I said, I love this show for that reason.
As in his voice and face?
his face.
Whoa.
He's in this. And I was like, oh, what a treat. I love this man.
Clancy Brown is a gem.
Clancy Brown is fantastic. And also Rinzi Feliz is maybe the third lead, I would say, in this. And then Oz's mother is played by Deirdre O'Connell. So these are, really great roles, really great characters, really great actors. And so I want to start by just giving you my general feeling of this show. It is 8 episodes. It is done. So I'm now reviewing the completed miniseries here. I really enjoyed this a lot. And I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't this. I didn't expect to be this hooked. I didn't expect to be this floored by the filmmaking of this. So I was pleasantly surprised. And so because of that, I want to give a special shout out to the creator of the show, the showrunner, Lauren LaFranc. She is not getting nearly the praise that she needs because everyone just associates this with Matt Reeves.
Yeah.
And they're saying like Matt Reeves' show, but this is her show. So Lauren LaFranc did a great job here. She is a producer on Hemlock Grove, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., a series called Impulse, which I actually don't know anything about, and then The Penguin. So her resume is quite small, but for some reason, Matt Reeves allowed her to run this show, and I'm so glad he did because this is a great show. I'm gonna circle back to the Batman, but I wanna start here. This show, don't go into it expecting the Batman. There is no Batman in this, but it is a direct sequel to the Batman. So I'm about to spoil the Batman. So if you have not seen it, pause, go watch it, come back. At the end of the Batman, the Riddler's master plan was he has 7 vans spread out over Gotham City at the seawall, and the 7 vans explode, allowing the seawall dam to burst and all the water to flood Gotham. So when that happened, Gotham was irrevocably changed in terms of its criminal landscape. And this the poorer area of Gotham was flooded and many people were killed, and it sort of created a huge shift in Gotham. Couple that with the fact that in the Batman, Carmine Falcone is killed by the Riddler, and now you have a power vacuum. And in that power vacuum, something must rise and take its place. At the end of the Batman, it's heavily implied that vacuum will be filled by Oz Cobb, by the Penguin. But no details, no specifics are given. So this series just begins with Oz taking the reins, hoping to elevate his position in the world. It feels a little bit like a retcon of the Batman, because in the Batman, it never felt like Oz was super low ranking, but the show certainly paints the truth of his situation as he's not as prominent in the Gotham underworld as he believes he is. And so he sees this as his opportunity to really put his name out there. So he goes to visit Salvatore Maroni. Now, we did not see Sal Maroni in the Batman. He was mentioned that he was in prison, and that's all we knew. So in this, Oz goes to visit Sal in prison. Sal is played by Clancy Brown, and he visits Sal and makes a proposition. And his whole intention here, I'm not going to give anything away, but his whole intention is to create a scenario where what's left of the Falcones and the Maronis go at it, end up destroying each other, and allowing Oz to kind of take his what he sees as his rightful place at the head of all of Gotham's underworld. And so he has this multi-step plan and he begins to enact it. Now, simultaneously, part of that plan, and this happens in maybe the first scene of the first episode. It's very early on, so this is not a spoiler. Sees Oz kill Alberto Falcone, the heir to Carmine's family. And when he murders Alberto, it sets Alberto's sister, Sophia Falcone, played by Kristen Milioti, on a warpath. So Kristen Milioti plays Sophia Falcone. Sophia Falcone in the comics, I really don't remember her doing much of note. I mean, she plays a role in The Long Halloween and like she's always there. I don't remember her having much of a significance beyond just her family name. In this show, look, Colin Farrell is great, but I kind of think this is Kristen's show. Like, it is so good what she does with this role. It's equally as good as anything Colin Farrell does in this role. And I think they both deserve Emmys for this.
She's getting a lot of attention for this show.
It is, I mean, it's breathtaking what she does with this character. And I have to talk about the writing. Like, the writing of her character is fantastic. The writing of like the scenario of her life is so engrossing. There's an episode of the series that is almost solely focused on her character, her backstory, how she got where she is, who she is, what makes her tick. It may be the best episode of the show. It's so good. And I'm just in awe of what she did. I have not seen her in anything. So I'm looking at it going like, the chick from How I Met Your Mother, like, she's this good and she's great. I just, not enough positive things can be said about her performance. And I skipped over him, but Colin Farrell is masterful in this. I know who Colin Farrell is. I've seen Colin Farrell in a lot of things. I do not see Colin Farrell in this role. Like, it is completely, you can kind of see it in the Batman, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't see it in this. Like, whatever he did between the Batman and the Penguin, he became Oswald Cobblepot. Sorry, Oz Cobb. I'm going to do it.
Don't use his real name.
Whatever. He's always Oswald Cobblepot in my heart. And he's great. And then I also want to bring special attention to Renzi Feliz, who plays Victor Aguilar. Victor Aguilar, I have not done the research, but just scrolling through the Rolodex of Batman characters in my brain, that name does not ring a bell. I think it's a character created for the show. And so I also did not want to look it up because I didn't want to know, like, he becomes Captain, whatever. Like, and I'm like, oh, great. Oh, okay, fine. But so I haven't looked it up, but it doesn't ring a bell to me. So I don't think he's a character from the comics, and he's a great addition to this show. Sort of a sidekick to Oz. And, I love his role in the show. It's equal parts tragic and I don't know, kind of cute. It's cool. And yeah, man, like I really liked this show a lot. The way I've been describing it as I've recommended to various people is, if you like The Sopranos, you're going to like this. It's very much like Batman by way of The Sopranos. And if you liked the Batman, you will certainly like this. I think if you like Batman at all, you will like this. I think if you don't know anything about Batman, you can get a lot out of this show, because Batman himself does not appear in this show. There's nothing really, like, Gordon's not in this. It doesn't really tie into, like, you can just watch this. And it's such a good, it's just such a good miniseries. Like, I really love it. This is, like, I feel like I'm I'm heaping praise on it the way that people talk about Andor, and I was just like, Andor's fine, but like everyone's like, oh, I love Andor, and I was like, okay, fine, but like I love Andor, but I was just talking to Christopher Lloyd, and he loves Andor, and
as an actor who was in The Mandalorian, Christopher Lloyd prefers Andor.
I forgot he was in The Mandalorian.
So did he.
Wow.
And he would like the world to forget.
Okay, well, there you go.
His role in The Mandalorian was what got the reaction to him being in it. It wasn't, oh, Christopher Lloyd. Everyone was, oh, he's looking old.
What was he in season 2?
Yeah, he's in the same episode as Jack Black and Lizzo.
Oh, so no, I never watched that. That's why I don't remember it. I remember him being in it, but I don't remember what he did. So yeah, I never watched that season. Okay.
Good.
But yeah, man, I really like this show a lot, and I do highly recommend it. I don't want to spoil anything about it, so I'm not recapping anything. I'm just saying this is a good show. It's well made. It's engrossing. It's everything you want a story to be. Now, having said that, I do want to bring up 2 negatives. The first negative is there is a reluctance to embrace the Batman of it all that that by the end of the show, I wish was different. So what I mean by that is like obviously Batman, but even beyond that, there's a part of the show that takes place in Arkham, and like you don't want every Batman villain to have a cameo. Like, oh, look, there's Two-Face in Arkham, and there's Clayface in Arkham, and all the faces are in Arkham. But like, you do want to use that opportunity, and like maybe Hugo Strange is the warden at Arkham, and you have the opportunity to like, yeah, it probably would have been hokey to be like, and there's Dr. Quinzel, but but there's an opportunity to build the world.
Yeah.
And as a fan of world building, that's a very clear opportunity. And so the fact that they shied away from it, I do want to say, like, I wish there was more. I wish there was less reluctance to embrace it. And then I do want to talk about the reluctance of the Batman itself. Like there's a lot that happens in this show that's big enough that it feels like Batman should have been around. Granted, the majority of the show does not feel that way, but when things do start escalating toward the wrap of the show, you do start to feel like, where is Bruce? Why is he not doing anything? And it didn't take me out because it is the Penguin show, and like I was engrossed in that character, and obviously throwing the Batman in, it's going to overshadow everything. Like if suddenly Bruce Wayne as Batman comes through the skylight, you're going to be like, oh, and now it's Batman.
Yeah.
So I kind of don't want him to show up, but at the same time, I wanted an explanation as to why he didn't.
Anything in a narrative that just gets you thinking about production cost is bad.
Yeah, sure. And maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was, we just don't want to pay Robert.
This was one of the many Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. problems was, where are the Avengers?
Yeah, right, right.
Why wouldn't they? And you kept reminding yourself because it's a TV show. They're not.
Yeah, because it's a TV show. They're not going to do it. Right.
And as a viewer, it's like, I don't want to be thinking about that.
And I wasn't. It's the moments in between the episodes where I'm queuing up the next one or waiting a week for the next one where I'm like, oh, Batman should have known that was happening. Like the Batman like mythology in the comics is like nothing happens with the gangs of Gotham that Batman doesn't know.
Yeah. It's like if things are going unaddressed, it's because he's waiting for them to play out.
Right. But then you have to answer, like, why is he letting people die as it plays out? So
maybe he learns later in life not to do that. Maybe young Batman is cool with it, and then he does
Correct.
a tally one year and goes, I've let 150 people die this year just by pure passivity.
Right. Like I want to know, like in the Batman 2, are they going to bring up the fact like, hey, Bruce, you're back from Europe? Or like, oh, Bruce, there's a bad case of the measles you had, whatever it was. Like,
how did you like that cryogenic freezing retreat you went on?
with Dr. Victor Freeze.
There was an accident and his wife died. Yeah.
Right.
He comes into town. Batman. Where's Bruce Wayne?
Yeah.
My wife is dead.
I'm just gonna say I love the fact that we both went to the BTAS version of that character and not the Arnold Schwarzenegger version.
Oh yeah, absolutely not.
I love that we just went to, I forget what his name was, the name of that actor was.
I love that guy. I don't know his name.
It's so good. I used to know his name. I'm going to look it up.
I feel like it's Michael something for some reason.
Michael and Sarah.
It is Michael. All right.
Yep.
All right.
So yeah, but I love his voice. Batman. I think what's happening in this story is engrossing enough that I don't have to think about it. But being the Batman fan that I am, I do. But I don't feel I don't feel like the show is worse because of it. But I do think it would have been better if it had included him in some way. But don't ask me how. I'm just saying, I think it'd be better if he was included, but it's not bad because he wasn't. And then I want to bring up this. We reviewed the Batman on the show, I believe, but I think I was absent for that episode. I've only ever seen it the once, right? I went back and watched it after I watched The Penguin.
Mm-hmm.
The Penguin is far better.
Oh, okay.
The Batman was not as good as I remembered it. If I gave the Batman 4 stars initially, on my second viewing a week ago, I would give it 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
I have some problems with that film. And so for me, the Penguin is like the best part of that world now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also if you compare it to the Joker movies, you realize like both movies or this series and both of the Joker movies are very different in how they approach the character. The Todd Phillips movies are almost embarrassed of the Joker. Like they want it to be something it's not.
Yeah.
And now, like after the Joker Folie à Deux has come out, Todd Phillips has been talking like, oh yeah, Joaquin's version was never the actual Joker. And I'm like, except it was,
Yeah.
and now you're pulling back on it
was
because
when it was
people
making
didn't
you
like
money.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. When people liked the movie, it was, and now it's not. It's like like that whole thing is embarrassed to be associated with Batman.
Yeah.
This, yes, it doesn't include Batman. Yes, there's not a lot of references to the grander Batman world. There are a few. But I do think that this is not embarrassed to be a part of it. And so that to me is way more palatable than the Joker movies. And this is just a better story with better characters. And yes, you spend more time with them. Yes, you get to know them better. But it's also got like Joaquin is great as Joker, but this has better performances all around. So Joaquin's Joker is great, but I'd be hard pressed to remember any of the supporting characters around him that were equally as good.
Yeah.
And yet here, Colin Farrell is great, deserves that Emmy. So does Kristen Milioti. So does Renzi Feliz. So does Deirdre O'Connell. So does Clancy Brown. Dude's a guest star, but like he's great. And I don't often come on this show with something that I'm like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I really did love it. But I really did love this, and I'm going to buy it when it comes out on 4K. And even if the Batman 2 isn't good, even if it never happens, like from what I understand, there's not even a script yet. I'm fully okay with this being the best part of what Matt Reeves did with this franchise. And so yeah, kudos to all involved. Kudos to Lauren LaFranc. Kudos to Colin Farrell. Maybe most notably for wearing that costume for 8 episodes. I enjoyed this. So if you have Max, if you enjoy Batman stuff, if you enjoyed The Batman, if you didn't enjoy The Batman, if you like The Sopranos, I think you'll like this. It's a mature take on what is essentially just Gotham underworld. It's just mobs fighting mobs. Organized crime shenanigans. I think you'll enjoy this. And do yourself a favor and watch The Penguin.
Okay, that was Dustin's review of The Penguin. I don't have much to add. I just want to real quick say, just now that I've seen it, since I had not at the time of the recording, I loved this show. I was able to let go of the idea that there's supposed to be other characters in this show, like Batman or people in this universe, and just let the show be what it is. And it's an incredibly character-driven drama, and it's got amazing writing and even more amazing performances. I think every nomination for Kristen Milioti and Colin Farrell is completely deserved. Everyone is so good. And I just, I would watch more of this, but I certainly enjoyed this very deeply, much more deeply than I ever thought I would. I thought I would just sort of be amused by it. But the more things happen in the show and the more that I come to respect their execution of like the Oedipus relationship with Penguin, with Oz and his mom, and family dynamics, and the way that they play into psychosis and to criminal actions. I really, really enjoyed this show. I feel like it's just one of those shows you watch and you're like, wow, these people really, really, really understood what they were doing. And I don't really have any notes at this point. So anyways, that's my little tag at the end here. I hope you, if you've watched this far, I hope that you have checked out the show by now. If not, I also recommend it. I think it's great. You should watch The Penguin. Okay. Bye. See you later.